Alright, we had Friday Night Lights in the Pac-12, Utah and Oregon State. Boy, was this a big game. Haven't had much time to talk about this one, but not often do we have a good game on a Friday. But here's the halftime score. Oregon State gets a good lead at halftime, up 7-0. Then we jump to the end of the third quarter. They put up another touchdown. Utah in trouble. Top 10 team on the road. 0 points heading into the fourth quarter. Then they didn't end up putting another touchdown in the fourth quarter, or, I guess their first touchdown. But then Oregon State answers back, wins 21-7. And then Cincinnati and BYU. Big 12 fans gotta get used to these late games. BYU wins 35-27 in an offensive power. This is the Slater Report podcast. Boy, do I got a good show today. It's Monday, October 2nd. Yeah, it's October now. Who would have thought that? 1 month done in college football. NFL, it's kind of interesting, a little boring, a little interesting. It needs to settle down. It needs to, not settle down, but settle in, get into it. But college football, what a season this is. I know that it didn't really give us very many good, we got some good games out of it, but, Utah was really the only big upsetter that, we got, or I guess, ranked, top 15, upset. There were a couple of few upsets that I will talk about on Down and Distance tomorrow, but I'm going to be talking about the, big games, really close games today, and some pro talk. But let's get a look at our big game Saturday, the Red River rivalry, Oklahoma versus Texas. This is the first time since I think 2008, since both these two teams are undefeated heading into this game. It's a top 15 matchup. 11 o'clock, ABC college game, ESPN college game is going down there. This is going to be a much-watched game. This is going to go down as classic. And I will give you an early prediction. This is not going to be one of those Red River rivalry games where we're used to seeing high-scoring offense. I'm predicting, early prediction for this game, defense. Defense is going to be the main show of this game. I can't wait to watch this. Bring on Saturday, but I'm going to be talking about this, analyzing this, giving you your best predictions and analysis for this game throughout the week. But before I get too deep into that game, we had some games Saturday, and they were really good. But let's jump into Georgia. Georgia played Auburn. It was a good one. And I expected it to be closer than probably some people thought. Georgia still doesn't know when to show up in the first half. They are still a second half team. Georgia ends up winning 27-20. They didn't have the lead until late in the fourth quarter. Yes, it took them. They were trailing majority of the game. They tied the game at the beginning of the fourth quarter and took the lead mid-fourth quarter and hold on to that lead. And then we go to a game I wasn't expecting to talk about. It was actually our joke game of the win. Joke game of the week. Penn State and Northwestern. Here's a look at the first quarter. Into the first quarter score. Northwestern actually scored first. They were up 3-0, and then Penn State answered later on. So 3-3 heading into the second half. Both teams did manage to score, so 10-10 at halftime. Then we jump to the end of the game. Fourth quarter, Penn State was lighting up fireworks. They went 41-13. Penn State definitely was struggling. Northwestern was hanging in. They were fighting every chance they had in the first half, but Penn State made second half adjustments. They got together, changed their game plan, and put up points. But, yeah, I was a little nervous there for having my first loss for a joke of the week. That was actually only the second time that I was a little nervous about getting my joke game wrong. The last time was Alabama and Texas last year. I still don't have a loss, and I hope I won't. I have a good feeling with the way that college football is shaping out this year that I probably might have one or two this year. But, and a little hint, I have a good one picked for this week. But you saw the title of this show, of this episode, and yeah, let's jump right into it. Pros go international. What does that mean? Well, did you notice lately that a lot more sports, U.S. sports, have been happening outside the U.S. Even in college sports, we had Navy versus Notre Dame. Well, we got some internationals and pros coming up. Actually, it was like one Sunday, and in the NFL, the games are like at 8:30 a.m. But it was the Jaguars versus the Falcons. Yeah, Jags won 23-7. Wasn't even close at all. Jaguars, I think it was their first win of the season. I'm pretty sure. Let me pull this up real quick. But yeah, that was a game. That was surely something. No, it's the Jags' second win, but they're 2-2 now. Still with the Falcons. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, it was only on Disney Plus and ESPN Plus. But the thing about it was, ESPN had a different or an alternate look to it, an animated version. They had it played in Toy Story movie, yeah, in Annie's room. It was entertaining. Yeah, they had some technical difficulties at the beginning, but I mean, once they kinked it out and got it working, which it was their first time doing it with football. I mean, they did it with NHL last year, but I gotta say, once they got it going, got it, and all the bugs figured out, it was a fun game. And I gotta say, Nickelodeon, look out. I still think Nickelodeon is at the top of that, but Disney, not far from it. That was good. ESPN did a really good job. That was funny. The Claw, I think, was the funniest thing. But yeah. And also, there might be potentially Disney ESPN might be doing, probably not Toy Story, but potentially might be doing another one, possibly with the NFL later in the year, possibly with the postseason. Also, I still have no word on when, Nickelodeon, they're one a year. Still don't know when Nickelodeon's gonna do their broadcast yet. But they did last year they did it Christmas. I'm guessing they're probably going to bring it back to the postseason this year. But we'll see. And then, next week, the Jaguars are back in London to play the Bills. Now, that's going to be a good one. After the Bills just beating the Dolphins. So, yeah, once again, I'm looking for another big win for the Bills. So, sorry, Jaguars, but you can't win every game in London. But, upsets happen. And then we go to the NBA on Thursday. The first NBA game of the season, or of the preseason. The Maverick versus the Timberwolves. It's going to be played in Abu Dhabi. Yeah. That's going to be probably a not watch game. It's probably going to be interesting to watch. Mainly because it's in Abu Dhabi. But if it wasn't outside the U.S., if it was just played in Minnesota, then probably hardly anyone would watch it, because there would probably be better things to watch on a Thursday night anyway. But there's Monday Night Football tonight. The Seahawks versus the Giants on ABC ESPN at 7:15. Seahawks are 2.5-point favored. I'm really not looking forward to much of this game. I'll probably be watching something else unless it gets interesting at the end. But anytime I say that this game's gonna be boring. It's not gonna be worth watching. It ends up getting worth watching. But yeah, that game's tonight. I'll give you more updates on it later on in the show. But let's do the 2-minute drill, I guess, for recapping some college football, or really some big games that happened this week. So yeah, these were the big games: Notre Dame and Duke. Here's the final score of that game. Yeah, Duke probably had multiple chances of winning this game, but yeah, their quarterback did get injured in the game, so that didn't do Duke too much of a favor. I got some news about Duke quarterback coming up, and something about it on the way. But Notre Dame ended up winning 21-14. Now we go to Washington and Arizona. Here's the end of the first quarter score. Washington looking like themselves, like I've heard all about, up 14-0. Then we go to halftime. Washington offense continues to dominate, but their defense allows a break. Arizona gets 10 points on the board. Then we go to in the third quarter. Arizona is starting to find momentum while Washington's offense continues to dominate. 28-17. We go to the fourth quarter now. Washington offense, continues to score points, but Washington defense fell apart. Throughout the game, Arizona kept finding momentum. They kept figuring out how the way to score points. Washington ended up winning 31-24. They never trailed in this game, but Arizona, kept it close. That's a close game. I expected this to be a close game than probably most people thought it was. And once again, proved my point that Washington, probably not a top 10 team yet, because this is really their first true test. If they win this game as much as they've won all the other games, then yeah, they really deserve to be top 10, number 7 like they are now. I just haven't seen it yet. Next game up, USC and Colorado. I can't believe I'm caught off about Colorado once again, but here I am. USC up 14-0. Wow, that offense, no doubt about that, is good. And I gotta say, their defense hold Colorado 0, which I kind of expect. Colorado really doesn't have much an offense going right now. Then we jump to halftime. Not close at all. Colorado did put up a few points, but USC's up 34-14. The end of the third quarter, it's 48-27. Yeah, USC defense just lets Colorado explode. Just hanging in. They're just hanging in. USC's got a good enough lead where it looked like, oh, they're winning this game. But USC defense is just keeping Colorado giving a chance. We go to the fourth quarter now. They hold USC to 0 points. They hold USC offense to 0 points in the fourth quarter. That's the quarter where they shine. Unbelievable. And Colorado, no doubt about that. They figured out once they figured out USC's defense, they scored. They had it was too late. They probably had a chance to win this game. I think Colorado probably deserves to win this game. They were the better team looking. USC fell apart in the second half, but USC did score enough points in the first half to win 48-41. Here's the comparison. Total yardage for USC, 498. Colorado, 564. Colorado won that one. Oh, look at that. USC barely won passing with 403 yards, and Colorado with 371 yards. But look at that rushing yard comparison. And they both had one turnover. Penalties was pretty even there, too. Now let's look at points. Once again, what is this now? 5 weeks now, or I think it's 4 weeks that I've had Oregon in this segment. Yeah, 42-6 for Oregon. That's a big win, and you might say Oregon played nobody, but they did play Colorado, which some people think that after the way they beat them, probably wasn't that big of a win. Now the way that they came back against USC, that looks big for Oregon, and USC and Oregon is gonna look like a good game. And Tennessee put up a lot of points on South Carolina, winning 41-20. Texas Tech putting up points on Houston. Houston might be the worst team in the Big 12, 49-28. And Maryland is climbing the Big 10 right now, beating Indiana 44-17. Texas State, they're a Cinderella right now, winning 50-36 over Southern Miss. And then Air Force, wow, this military team knows how to play football, winning 49-10 over San Diego State. Alright, it's now time to make fun of football. It's time for 10 memes. Alright, Oregon State stormed the field after beating Utah. Woo! Yeah. I mean, that's actually worth storming the field about. But, also, that's not much for field storming. That's not much. But, yeah. Here's Oregon State slapping Pac-12 in the face, saying, we might have lost the Pac-2 championship game, but we just beat the Pac-12 defending champs. So take that. You can't leave me out anymore. And then on College Game Day, they did a special segment around Duke quarterback, and apparently he gets checked from his mom before every game or any big event coming up, or whatever. It's always something. You suck. To motivate his son. Isn't that hilarious? Yeah. Love you, but don't forget, you suck. Hilarious. I think that was probably the funniest thing today. Too bad he got injured. I really thought that Duke had a chance to win that game. Even, did you know that Duke scored on Notre Dame when Notre Dame had 13 players on the field? Yes, Notre Dame still doesn't know how to count, but a kid does. Look at this sign. Even I can count to 11. Ha! Take that, Notre Dame. Yeah, and then Rice put up a sign for their home game that student ticketing prices for beer is $3. Not bad. Limit is $2. I gotta say, that's $3 for beer. Cheap. That's a good deal. Limit is $2. I mean, I don't drink it all, whatever, but I know that people that will drink or do beer and wine or whatever, they will be mad with the 2 limit. But they are students, so yeah. But yeah, that sign was up there, and then we go to LSU and Ole Miss. Yes, it's Ole Miss versus the refs. Yeah, they weren't happy about the call, so they started throwing water bottles, their beer cans, all type of stuff on the field. Hilarious. Yeah, that's the SEC for you. And then we go to Maryland. Yeah. They put, of course, him on the Jumbotron for a kick. Guess what? He missed the kick. That's funny. Why is this meme going around all of a sudden? That's funny. Alright. And then we go to Iowa State and Oklahoma. This was a powerhouse game for Oklahoma. They dominated in every field. Now, they did have some, they weren't perfect. Their defense struggled in the first half. But, I mean, there were some positives at both ends. I mean, I think it was well balanced. But, yeah, here's a call in one of the games. One official said, oh, no, it's first down. The other official said it was fourth down. By the way, it went under review. Oklahoma had the ball. It ended up being fourth down. I do agree with the call, but the initial call in the field was first down. But also, one side didn't get the memo and also still said it was fourth down. One of them was right. The one that wasn't listening to the ref was obviously keeping his eyes open and knew the right call. This next one, I don't even remember where I saw this from or what game it is, but yeah, this fan's climbing the goalpost. Yeah, that's probably the picture of the week. Or this is the picture of the week. Yes, Appalachian State made a game-winning field goal to win the game. What a win! But also, before the kick, they put up this sign on the Jumbotron saying, "No fans on the field after the game." Like they think they're gonna miss this field goal. He made the field goal, they lost, and they still kept that on the Jumbotron. See, it's his final, and they still kept it saying, "No fans on the field." Wow. Just wow. Speaking of LSU and Ole Miss, as I was talking about the beer thing, here's the end of the first quarter score. Yeah, Ole Miss defense held strong in the first quarter of 21-7, but then LSU started to get their offense going. They put up 27 points. Yeah, looking good. And then we go to the end of the third quarter. LSU takes the lead. They had the lead 41-34. Ole Miss offense, I mean, they're putting up points, but where is the defense in this game? Then Ole Miss got their offense going, and LSU's defense lit up. It's like every quarter they would switch. It was a weird game. No defense at all whatsoever. Ole Miss wins 55-49. Here are some other big close games that I need to mention. Missouri beat Vanderbilt 38-21. A&M beat Arkansas 34-22. Clemson beat Syracuse 31-14. And then Iowa beat Michigan State 26-16. Yeah, and more points to Iowa's offensive coordinator thing. I'll give you an update about that on Down and Distance tomorrow. App State, I already mentioned, won 41-40 over Louisiana Monroe. And West Virginia gets a big upset on the road over TCU, 24-21. Now let's talk about probably the biggest game of the week. This is going to be a good one. Baylor and UCF, the biggest comeback in Baylor history. Here's a quick recap. UCF is up 28-7 at halftime. Not bad for UCF. UCF fans are like, okay, this is going to be a big win for us. Baylor fans are like, oh man, again, this is like our worst year ever. Third quarter, UCF continues to put up points, 35-10. But then we go to the fourth quarter. Oh my goodness. UCF had turnovers after turnovers after turnovers. UCF probably had the worst quarter ever. Baylor won 36-35. Wow, what a ball game that was. I mean, yeah, they had the pick, they had like a pick six, like a fumble return. UCF missed the field goal. Baylor made a field goal to win the game. That was probably the most craziest fourth quarters I've ever seen. But wow, and I got more to talk about that and break it down more tomorrow on Down and Distance. But yeah, here's a quick look at our rankings comparison, my rankings versus AP rankings. Not much has changed this week. We're still waiting on some big games, but yeah, Oklahoma, Texas, the big one Saturday. That will really shake up both these two rankings. It's very likely the winner of that game, well, if Texas wins, they might be number one. But if Oklahoma wins that game, they could be number one as well. I mean, those two teams look really good. You know, if you throw if you include Texas and Oklahoma in the SEC standings today, those two are at the top with Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, Alabama. Yeah. Yeah, you don't believe me? Look it up. You gotta see it. Alright, Monday Night Football tonight. Seahawks versus the Giants. Yeah, 7:15. Not really much of a big game, but, yeah. Okay, so I guess a little, the option. Alright, so, yeah, let's see. Who am I gonna pick to win this game? Yeah, is giving me time to get my pick graphic up here. Let's see. Seahawks versus the Giants, ABC. Seahawks are a 2.5 point favorite. I really haven't seen much of these two teams play. If I had, the only time that I've seen these two teams play, they lost big. They weren't even good games. But the times I don't watch them, they win. I mean, not by much, but they win the game. Am I going to watch the game tonight? Well, someone's got to win. I'm going to put my pick on the Seahawks. They're on the road. I just feel like the Seahawks, I believe, they're favored. I think they're going to win not by 2.5 points. They're going to win by 6 points in this game. That's my pick right there. All right. Yep, give me time for me to fix my graphic back up, but yeah, the Red River Rivalry, yes, Oklahoma, Texas, Saturday, 11 o'clock on ABC, huge ball game, can't wait to talk about this. I'm going to be talking about this, I'll talk about this for an hour if I have to on Down and Distance tomorrow. I'll talk about my predictions, player stats, all that's coming out all week long. Down and Distance, American Game Day. It's gonna be the game of the season, and I am so hyped about it. But, yeah, we'll just have to wait. I'll be counting down the days, but, yeah. Alright, and also, I already mentioned earlier that, NBA is starting back up on Thursday of preseason. Yeah, so with that in mind, it means Hardwood Hoops will be back Thursday. It's a short episode, but, yeah, Hardwood Hoops is back. American Game Day is Saturday. Yeah, you can see right there our show lineup for the week. Got a good week planned, and, yeah, you can check out our website to see our full schedule and all the games that we will be covering. But anyway, yeah, this was an episode. I know it's probably been, well, I was thinking that was going to be a short episode this week. But, yeah, it's just as long, nearly 30 minutes long. But, yeah, I guess I got to end today's episode. But, yeah, a lot of games to talk about. I didn't even talk about all of the games. I'm going to be covering, it's going to be a full recap tomorrow on Down and Distance. All the games I talked about today, plus more. Yeah, there's more games that I didn't even have time to talk about. But that's going to wrap up this episode of the show. I'll see you all tomorrow. This is the Slater Report Podcast.